he was just passed out. Really, thought he was passed out, and then checked on him. And obviously, when you know someone passed, they passed. Tried everything I could do. Same with John, and that's kind of what happened. But it's just wild. It's kind of weird to explain like to people, but super, super sad.
Let's go, Teo.
Teo,
What's going on?
thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're completing the Beat Brigade quest on this right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's an honor to be here. I know we didn't prep for this, and honestly, a conversation like this, I don't know what prep there would be, but I guess this episode is more about Gabe. Is what we're going to jump into.
Of course. Yeah,
the homie Gabe. I know we had Ben and John on here. For those of you that have listened, sharing the story about losing our friend Gabe. Teo was also there that night and just as close as those guys. And Teo's going to tell us a little bit about, his story that night, and we'll kind of just wrap it from there. So you want to start with that night and that day or however it happened?
I mean, I'm sure Ben and John told you kind of like the gist of it, but obviously it's a sad night. We all lost a really good, valuable friend that was very dear to us. And yeah, man, it was just one of those things that was super unexpected, especially from someone like Gabe, who is such an outgoing person who you thought that would live here forever, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was real unfortunate. I was there. I was actually one of I would say the two people in the room when it happened. I think like John and them were asleep. And so we're working on beats like everything and like we usually do. And he was just passed out. Really thought he was passed out, and then checked on him. And obviously when you know someone passed, they passed. Tried everything I could do. Same with John, and that's kind of what happened. But it's just wild. It's kind of weird to explain like to people, but super, super sad.
Yeah, I mean, even when I haven't spoken to too many people in your shoes that actually, a lot of people I have spoken to, are rarely. I guess it's more common than not, but not in your situation where you're seeing someone that just died like that.
Yeah, never.
So the experience to walk in on someone like that. I mean, besides the fact that you're just losing someone that you care, one of your best friends, someone like that in your life, seeing that shit. I mean, what does that do to you?
It holds a crazy burden on you. Like what's that called? Like survivor's guilt type of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's like a word for it. But like, it was just because we're all turning up type of stuff. Obviously, we all know he like overdosed and stuff. So I didn't really have a clue what he did, and so being there and being the last one there, like to see like his last moments, it like kind of replays in my head a lot type of stuff. So this is really interesting. Like it's always in the back of my head, and it just like lets me know how valuable life is and how fragile it is. So that's my takeaway from it.
And when you say the guilt, is that something that still?
Yeah, because you always feel like you could have done something. Like obviously like there's nothing you can do because you don't know what they did and all that. Like I wasn't really around him when he was doing all that. I got there later in the night. So it's just weird. You just feel helpless, but you feel like you could have done something, but you really can't.
Yeah, I want to say, I mean, I assume that's something common too, and it's something like that that's, I guess you would say, preventable in some ways, even though realistically it's not.
That's what you think. Yeah, and then especially because I was around that night, but I wasn't watching like I wasn't babysitting like, yo, don't take this, don't take that. So it just feels weird, but no, it's a learning experience like any type of like passing that from someone that's close to you. So.
And I'm sure it was brought up when I spoke to Ben and John.
Yeah.
But Gabe wasn't even, at least from what I remember, it was a shock to me, like let alone you guys,
right.
Because I never took him even for that person that would even put himself in that position.
Nah, he really wasn't. I think he was just like living life to the fullest that night. Like it was one of the Beat Brigade shows, the open house, if you remember those.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone just enjoying themselves. So I think he just took it a little bit too far, was just drunk and had maybe like some of the wrong influences around him that from people that we didn't really know, that we kind of just met. And I think that kind of had like a influence on that type of stuff.
And that guilt you're talking about, excuse me, is that something you want, you try to massage out, or is that something like you kind of mentioned that you use as motivation?
I kind of use it as motivation more than anything, just because I don't know, you just want to get past it. And then I know that he would want you to get past it, you know what I'm saying? Because he wanted the best for all of us. So yeah, that's basically the way I kind of approached that.
Is that something that you kind of took immediately when it happened?
Nah, it hits you as a shock, as you know, like obviously like the passing of your dad that I've heard about. So like I'm sure, how did you feel like right away?
Honestly, man, and it's I'm trying. When you say guilt, I kind of feel like first time I'm saying this, but like a griever's guilt in the sense that it happened to me when I was 12.
Yeah.
So for you to see a death like that as a grown man, it's like that shit really sticks with you. Even though obviously, whoever's editing this, just get out me clearing out my throat. I don't remember a lot. It was a lot of stuff
Mhm.
that I kind of blacked out, and I've had conversations in the past that I want to say it's a defense mechanism where I was just super young, and it was such a catastrophe of a jolt to my
Right.
brain as a 12-year-old that I don't really remember. I remember moments. I remember that day. I remember how I felt, I guess, as time passed, but I don't really remember how I handled it in the beginning generally. And it's frustrating. It's
Yeah.
honestly really frustrating because I know how it's affected me as I got older and I got more time to digest it,
Yeah.
which is kind of what I'm asking is when we're talking about the survivor's guilt, because when you go through something like that, your feelings and the way you handle it and the way you see it just kind of morphs as time goes on. So I was
Mhm.
curious to see if that's something that you realized in the beginning. And with that being said, what was the beginning like for you guys?
I think frustration was like the word for it, like you said. Because you don't know how to feel, and you feel like you should have more emotions, but you kind of try to block it out a little bit, and then it hits you way later. Like in life, I don't know. It's interesting, but just I don't know. There's no way of like handling deaths like that. I think like there's coping mechanisms. They're talking to people. I feel like the more you talk about it to people, that's a little bit better. But just
Did you
holding stuff in isn't good, obviously.
did
So
you do that? The talking part?
yeah, I like talk to my mom, talk to friends, John, all them and stuff. We always have stories like that and stuff, like shed a couple tears, which is always good. So yeah, that type of stuff.
So one thing I've heard from several people outside of your experience, but when it comes to, I mean, my own experience too, when it comes to guys in general about feelings, it's just,
Yeah,
I mean, not to bring up my last relationship, but that was definitely not one of my fortes in regards to expressing myself.
same
And
here.
that level, let alone when someone dies. When you're talking to your friends like John or Ben, is it more of is it sharing memories? Is there ever a moment where you remember actually expressing how you feel?
It's more sharing memories. A little bit of expression of like how you feel, but I think we just kind of like talk about the good times and try not to like focus on the negativity of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he would want us to like really grieve over it like that.
I think that's a big key right there is, I mean, we were blessed to have Gabe because I know who the person, what kind of guy he was. And that says a lot about someone when you're saying, I know he wouldn't want this.
Yeah,
And so having that is kind of the glass is half full kind of thing because
yeah,
it's a representation of who he was when he's not even here.
absolutely. He
You
was
know?
that guy, man. He was that guy. He had a great energy, made everyone comfortable. Everyone laughed, especially. Everyone knew that. So we always bring up funny stories, and that's our way of like remembering him. You know, like I don't
Yeah.
want to bring up, oh yeah, he was fucked up that night, this and that. Like I want to think about the good stuff in the end.
What do you think the hardest part was? I mean, obviously losing him, but was it that guilt? Was it what comes up later? Was it now? Was it then?
I think it was then, like in the present moment, it was just because his mom showed up at the end. Obviously, that was the worst thing to fucking see, because you never want to see someone's mom go through that. Like I just heard that's the worst thing for a mom, and obviously she didn't. I don't even know like what to think. She just kind of showed up. She didn't cry. She didn't act crazy. She was just, like everyone was zoned out around her. Just she probably had like that tunnel vision, and it just like I was like, damn.
What is that like? What's your reaction when you see? I feel like when that happens, you would immediately think that the person would just be frantic, this or that. When there's a sense of calm over her.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of eerie. And then to like add on to that, like she was standing there, and I always remember like the coroner just like kind of take him away, and then they say, "Oh, have a good day," like just go on about life, and then just like the birds start chirping, it gets really quiet, and you're just like, "Did that really just fucking happen?" Like it's a very interesting thing to experience.
That's that specifically what you just said is. I feel like it's so indicative of the entire experience. Is that I mean, life just
It moves on.
yeah, nothing slows down.
Yeah, that's a part of life is death. So
Yeah, but I mean, everyone handles it differently. How do
yeah,
you actually let go of some shit? And like you said, you're using the guilt, that survivor's guilt, which is just is essentially made up. It's not like you have nothing
yeah,
to be guilty about.
right, of course.
But if using that, I wonder how much that weighs on you compared to the motivation that you use it. Like, is there ever a point of the survivor's guilt that you felt shitty?
Yeah, a little bit, but like that was like maybe a few years ago, like when you really start thinking about it. But I've gotten over that type of stuff because, like I said, you just got to move on and work your ass off because it shows you that life is very fragile and anything can happen.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep going, type of stuff.
How long has it been now?
I don't want to say the wrong year, but it's like maybe 4 years, 5 years, I believe.
I remember the call that I got. It was Anomaly was the one that actually
Oh, no way.
hit me up, and I was at Dave and Buster's and hit me up, and that's when I jetted over to your guys' house, and it was just, it's weird. I mean, when anyone dies, it's weird, but there's always a really weird, eerie feeling when it's someone in your friend group when you're young.
Yeah, 1,000%. Like the air feels like thick. It's like,
yeah, and
it's different.
You never know what to say, but I had no idea what to say, what the right thing was, and not that there should be or will be.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember walking into that place, and it was just the quietness that still echoes in my head, and I still remember that. And it was like no one really knew what to say. It was just sad, obviously, and then I don't even know what you do from there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't even know what we did that day. Like, it was just all, that whole day was just like a blur after that type of stuff. Like, and we all just kind of sat there. I think I took a walk just to like get my mind off it, and yeah, I really can't recall much.
What do you, and after that, I guess the first year you're saying is a blur?
Yeah, it pretty much. And then it really starts to resonate with you, like what happened a little bit later. It's weird. I don't know why it does that to me. Everyone's different, like you said, but in my situation, that's kind of how it happened.
It resonates with what later? What do you mean?
Oh, like when it's, were you saying like how it happened or when it hit me or?
Yeah, I guess after that, you said it was a blur, and then when you move on from there, I mean, when does it pop up, and then what do you do when it pops up? You just sit there, or is that when you would be more vocal about it?
No, I feel like I just kind of sat there, which was the wrong thing to do. Like, you got to express your feelings to people. And I feel like a lot of us did it, like me, John, and Ben. We wouldn't really bring it up. We only, like, as of, like, late started bringing that up, which is odd. But
recently?
Yeah, maybe, like, recent as in, like, the last maybe 2-3 years. Like, not...
Bringing what up? Like, what?
Yeah, like the whole experience and how we feel about it, all that type of stuff.
And what do you say? You don't have to share the details.
No, I just be... yeah, he was a great...
I don't know what else y'all are talking about.
No, we all just talk about that day and, like, how it went down and how such a weird vibe it was and how unfortunate it was and how we all felt like we could have kind of prevented it in a way by like looking after him and be like, yo, slow down, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't go with that guy and pop this and do this. But that's about it.
I mean, how do you get over that? What is your answer to that question?
I feel like that's like an impossible question almost. Like, you try everything, you know what I'm saying? But as of yet, like, I don't think I found the exact way to cope with it.
I mean, I don't know the answer, but obviously, like I said, there's no realistic guilt that you should have, but it makes sense to have that guilt.
Yeah, because like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I had that guilt. I think everyone kind of did for a little bit because you just always feel like you could have done something, but that's how a lot of people feel when like tragedy strikes, type of stuff.
What is that? I mean, are you ever still in a scene where you're maybe more intuitive to seeing that stuff, where you might be moving forward more cognitive of saying something in a situation like that?
Like if it happens nowadays or something? Yeah, I feel like I probably, because I'm getting more mature and like I know how to use my words more and like open up. So I think that's good that I'm learning that.
And back to what you were saying about it's coming up. What do you think that is that it's coming up now that you guys are just talking about?
Yeah, I really can't put a finger on that one. I don't know why. Because like you realize how much time has went by and you really start thinking that like, damn, time starts flying and you got to cherish those moments and you wish you could go back and all this stuff because you start like being around new people and like, man, you're not the same as Gabe. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like you miss like dear friends like that.
Yeah, especially what you said earlier about, you guys are all doing well. You guys are, you've been trending up for a minute now. And I feel like you guys are, I don't know, when I knew you guys, I'm not trying to like, make your head too big, but when I met you guys early on, I remember my buddy Chris. I linked him up with John. I don't know if you guys have met before, but he's a producer. And like early on, like the $10 store when I met Ben and John, I was like, you got to meet these guys because these guys are like, I just knew that you guys were going to make something of it, which you guys are doing now. So at the end of this rant that I'm talking about, in regards to bringing it up now, has to relate to the fact that you guys are doing so well, which can have that reflective response of, fuck, I wish Gabe was here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he was a vital piece of like the whole Beat Brigade of the creative process. He wasn't a yes man either, so you'd be like missing people like that. Cause you meet new people, they just like, yes, yo, that sounds cool. So you miss people like that are true friends that could tell you, nah, that's not good. Do this. So
She's a straight shooter.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, he would rip all of us, bro. He would rip all of us to shreds, bro. Especially Ben, bro. He'd go off on Ben sometimes. Cause we all remember Ben back in the day, man. I'm Ben great, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he would let Ben have it, man. So
Ben's doing great now.
oh, he's doing amazing.
I fucking love Ben. I saw him the other day.
death.
He's not doing any of that.
No, hell no, bro. He doesn't drink. Like, he'll go through like 2 months of not drinking nothing. He wakes up at 5 a.m. He's part of the 5 a.m. club.
I love
all that stuff. Feel me?
Dude, that's amazing. I wonder how much of Gabe's hammering actually got to his head.
Oh, yeah. It definitely played a part for sure.
Yeah?
I feel like it, yeah.
What's your favorite memory of Ben? Well, we get to Ben too, but Gabe.
There's so many Ben stories. Gabe, Gabe. There's a lot. Too many to count on 2 hands, bro. I'm just like, what's a good one?
I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Yeah,
I should have
like,
given you a
what's
heads
your
up.
top 20 producers? I'm just like, damn, fuck, dude, he was that good. Like, creating fucking masterpiece life situations, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we could get back to that if you prefer.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to our favorite.
It'll come to me.
Our favorite Gabe story. I'm trying to think, man, because there's so many questions I have about the process of it. My real curiosity is just kind of the evolvement of it, and it seems you guys are at a good place. I'm just curious to how quick it took you to get there. Like in your opinion, you think you guys just kind of kept going real quick, and that was your way of handling it, and just get back to work?
Yeah, definitely, because like I didn't want to pause, because you don't want to get idle and like think about shit too much, because it's like idleness can be like an enemy. It gives you time to like think about shit, so you just got to keep pushing. So I think that's how all of us kind of dealt with it.
What do you think the balance is there of, obviously, I feel the same way. Even when I'm going through what I'm dealing with now in my life, I find it better to stay busy and keep my mind working. But when you do find those quiet times, that's when you really start thinking. But do you think there's a balance of kind of dealing with those idle times? Because I feel like at some point you're not going to be working. At some point you're always going to have those quiet moments.
Of course.
And it's going to come back to you. So is there anything you could think of, if you've even been conscious of it, that you've done during those idle times to kind of release that? Like, is there any contemplation or questions you ask yourself or anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I drove straight to Vegas and bet it all on black.
What happens if it goes to red?
Oh, shit, then you're fucked. It gets way worse, my friend. Downwards, slippery slope, dude.
You're going to Vegas. You told me like 20 minutes ago before the episode to not go to a specific place, which I'm not going to mention
exactly.
on my mic right now.
Nah, you just got to, you got to do what you got to do. You got to have, like, downtime to really fucking, like, work on yourself mentally and physically, all that type of stuff, so.
How old are you now?
I'm 30, just turned 30 this year.
When's your birthday?
April 12th.
God damn it, I missed it. I'm sorry.
How are you, Dave? How old are you?
I'm 33.
I thought you were 32.
Oh, thank you.
Same thing. We're all like the same little realm.
Yeah, it's cool to see. I mean, I don't get to see you all the time, but it's cool to see the growth of the people in my circle, and it's like, and you guys have had a long road outside of Gabe.
No, yeah, same to you. I've seen you.
I appreciate it, but in regards to like I just think it's an important conversation because you're gonna have plenty of other podcasts after just talk about the production and everything you're doing now and that you're gonna do. There's no doubt in my mind. But to have a conversation like this, which is not to plug my podcast, no homo, but 2 guys having a conversation like this,
all hetero, right?
And everyone that's thinking that no homo, relax. It's a joke, get over it. But it's like the conversation I've had with one specific guy, Phil Cohen. He's like a big supporter of his story of who he lost, blah, blah, blah. And he always brings up men's mental health. And there is that stigma of men not talking about their feelings and whether it's relationships, like everyone knows that.
Yeah.
So I think the camaraderie that you guys had is a special thing. I'm actually surprised, not surprised because I know how great Ben and Gabe are, and Ben and John, and how a lot of our friends that we hang out are, but like even within certain friend groups, a lot of guys don't have that heart to heart and let people know, hey man, I'm kind of feeling fucked up right now. I'm feeling sad, this or that. It's usually like you kind of keep it in. So was that just a natural thing for you guys to be vulnerable, or you guys don't think you were fully vulnerable?
No, I feel like it was definitely a natural thing just because we're all natural in the studio. We're all natural with each other, like going out. I don't know. It's just not the same with other people. So it was just really easy to talk about stuff like that with them.
What about to your family? Was that
I feel like it was easy, but it's different type of stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, like, parents feel for you, but, like, they don't know the person that well, so they can't really relate in terms of stories or like, oh yeah, so like they could tell you really great stuff, obviously because they're their parents, they're older, they've lived through, I'm sure they've had plenty of deaths. So, but it's different when like it's a group of friends and we all
Yeah.
know the person. So I feel like that helps a lot.
Yeah, it's a different conversation from
Yeah.
your I guess. So you're saying it's more of a different conversation just because they're obviously they're your family, or specifically because they didn't know the person?
I think it's because they don't really know the person. So like they know how to like, you know, help you out and like tell you everything's gonna be all right. But I feel like it helps to like know the person. So you could bring up stories and oh like this and that. And I feel like it's just easier to talk about stuff when you know a lot about a situation.
Do you think that relates to a level of just this person understands more?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What do you think that is? Why are we more comfortable when someone understands the pain we're going through? Is it just misery loves company?
That could be it. Yeah.
Do you think
That
there's
could be
comfort
it.
in that?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because you both have the same fucking internal feelings. So it's easier to let loose because feel like there's no like, you know, they're not gonna judge you or they're not
Yeah.
gonna think like, oh man, like stop bitching, stop moaning, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Was there any comparison on how you each handled it? Because from my experience, from my sisters or just people around me that have lost, everyone just kind of handles it differently. Do you guys think you handled it? I keep bringing, you three up because you guys were all so close and you guys were kind of all dealing with the same thing. Was there anything that you feel like you handled differently than them, whether for better or for worse?
I don't know because I don't know what they do when I'm not
Yeah.
around or whatever. So I feel like when we're amongst each other, it's all very similar, very, you know, very, we talk about the same type of stuff. But when I'm by myself, I don't know if I'm handling it different than them, but I feel like they'd probably be kind of similar.
Yeah. Is there anything that I'm going to get two-fold question here, and I'm not going to, I hope you're thinking about the best Gabe story in the meantime, but,
Oh yeah, still man.
besides,
That's still man, bro. That's how many stories there are.
I'm trying not to distract you too much because I think that'd be a good punch out of a little Gabe story. But from what you've gone through, and when we eventually cap this off, I want to recap to where you are today. But first, is there anything that you wish you did differently in the process of what happened? Like the grieving process, not
Yeah.
like that night. Is there anything that you feel like you could have done better? And the only reason I'm asking that is for anyone that's listening right now that maybe kind of going through it.
I feel like you should just like seek to talk to people earlier and not let shit build up like anything. Because once it builds up, it just snowballs, and then when it comes out bad. Like usually on yourself, like you start getting on yourself harder type of stuff. So it's better just, you know, get comfortable with people and tell them like how you feel, because at the end of the day, like it ain't that fucking hard. Like it's like anything, going to the dentist, you don't want to go.
Yeah.
But then once you're done with it, you're like, oh, that wasn't too bad. So it's just like, yeah, you just got to do it. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel way better like that. So
That's
that's what I would say.
That's perfect. I mean, sometimes you got a cavity and it sucks, or a root canal,
Yeah,
but
but
at least you got it over
It
with.
could get way worse. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. Tooth fucking starts cracking. You look like a crackhead. You
Yeah,
know,
the
so.
dentist analogy. I like that. That's the first
Yeah.
time I ever heard that one. All right. That's
Yeah,
dope.
because I fucking hate the dentist. Everyone does.
Low key, I actually don't mind the dentist.
I like the jazz music they play. Some like Michael Bolton. I don't know why.
I got no music in my fucking place.
What?
No, I
Tell
got
him to step it up.
The dentist I has a mural painting on the ceiling of a sky and like cherubs. Cherubs were those fat little babies.
Yeah, they're like
Cherubs?
shooting arrows.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the fucking.
Yeah, they
Cupid
got
guy.
them. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Anyway, it's terrible.
I remember when I was going to the dentist and like when I was like 22 and there's like Mickey Mouse photos. I'm like, I'm too old for this place. That's when Obamacare was around. You're under like your parents shit. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude?
You walk out with a lollipop.
Yeah, I got like a beard growing.
Yeah.
Like a fucking 6-year-old like in there. Yeah. I'm just like, what the hell am I doing? Gotta step it up.
Yeah, mine did not Mickey Mouse, just cherubs. And then on the spectrum of that, what is something you are proud of in regards to how you handled the situation that you are happy with what you did?
That I just really started focusing and locking in. Like it made me really focus on life and take it more seriously. Because now you see that shit can happen and you gotta fucking go your hardest. Because I want people to talk good about me like we talk about Gabe, you know?
And the fact that Gabe passed so suddenly like that, that has a tremendous effect on someone that, I'm not putting any downstriding on anyone that dies through a longer process, because there's no comparison. But in regards to someone just dying suddenly, it does offer that picture of how instantaneous life can go in either direction.
You start getting like a sense of the finitude of life. It's weird. You're just like, oh shit. And then you don't know what happens beyond that. Like, you're just like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Dude, like, how would you cope? Like, how did you cope? Like, did it take you a long time, or have you had any other close people pass away?
Yeah. I mean, since my dad, I mean, a lot of people in my family passed. Some friends of friends have passed, and then the closest friend that I can think of that passed in my life was a girlfriend of mine, Veronica,
Oh wow.
and she died in California, and it was suddenly as well. And she's one of my really good girlfriends that lived in California. I knew her from Jersey, and my best friend James was like best, even probably closer. It was definitely closer than I was, but like
Yeah.
we had this little group,
Right.
and she passed. She got hit on a scooter trying to make it in the left to like coming home from work
Oh,
in
no
like
way.
in like Orange County. Yeah, and it's
How
just
old? How old was she, and how old were you? Just a while ago.
I was 20s. I'm forgetting the date, but it might be like at least 5 years by now.
Oh wow.
Minimum. I'm hoping I'm not butchering the years of that, but it was like she's 5 years ago. I was 27. She's probably 25,
Oh
26.
wow.
She was young, and once again, it was one of those sudden things, and I don't know. It's just once again those quick deaths and the shit that just happens out of the blue. It's like a multitude of feelings of frustration, like, especially someone like Veronica. I always think of a eulogy what people give at death. Like everyone's always talking really highly of people,
Mm-hmm.
and in my eyes, I was like, based on the law of numbers, not everyone's gonna be that good of a person. So like most people, some people die a piece of shit. And everyone was, oh, he's such a great person. But like Veronica was truly like she was just a full of life and just an amazing girl that everyone loved. She's like hard not to love,
That's
hard not to
amazing.
like. So to see someone like that go so quick, and I'm sure you can say the same thing about Gabe. It's just, I want to say it's fucked up, but at the same time, this is kind of a fucked up way to do it because I hate saying like, oh, they're carrying the burden to help other people grow, but it's,
Mm-hmm.
but there is blessing in losing someone, and at the end of the day, you learn a lot. And you change your perspective like you did,
Yeah.
and of course, at the end of the day, I'm sure you would trade any good perspective and good lesson for Gabe's life.
Of course,
Like we know that, and I would do the same for Veronica or my dad.
1,000%.
But fuck, does it make you think, dude? That like that quickness, and maybe when we die and we go wherever the hell we go, maybe it's like so much better that we'll be like, oh, why the fuck were we worrying this whole time?
Little like pieces of shit
Yeah,
on this earth.
yeah, I don't know. So I don't know, but
Yeah.
it definitely makes you think, and being able to shift that perspective like you have it's big, man. You just turned 30 years old, and not like most people that are 30 years old haven't had that. A lot of people haven't had that experience,
Yeah.
and they're blessed to not have had that experience, but also, I mean this with a grain of salt, but you're blessed to have had that experience, but also more important, not had that experience more. You're blessed to have had that realization and the maturity to see it like that.
Yeah.
Because some people might go the other way, and that's the
Right.
conversation I bring up all the time on this podcast. But some people don't see it like you saw it, don't have the camaraderie with two of the really good friends that are dealing it with you to circumvent this and use that energy towards what you're doing now and why you're so
Absolutely.
successful.
Yeah, because healthy, you got to do it at the end of the day. Because, like that person who passed away, they probably want you to fucking, be successful and be healthy and have a family or whatever the fuck that they didn't get to do. So you just got to think of it like that. Like, we're fucking super blessed, dude. Like, we're both blessed. Look at you killing it. We're all crushing it. We're having fun. We're sipping, liquor, chilling.
Yeah, like I don't have the sponsorship to say what we're drinking, but it's good.
But it's really good. And it's
I'm like real like I think it's a little warm in here, but also this is making me really warm.
This is making me really warm,
okay. Yeah,
too.
okay, cool.
No,
It's not
because
just
it was
me.
perfect temp we walked in
And then
here.
yeah, it's a little toasty right now.
Man, hell yeah.
But Teo, I really appreciate you. I don't know. It's like I said, I don't see you all the time, but I you're just one of my homies. I've known you for a long
We've
time
had
right
good
now.
times together.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I really appreciate you sitting down and being willing to talk about it because it reflects back to what we said early on, that the fact that people don't let it out, and just showing someone as real as you that you can just do that regardless on any level. I'm hoping it's a little bit of an insight for people that don't let it out in some way to let it out, whether it's to someone or through another outlet. I just think it's a really big part of the healing, and the way you shifted your perspective is just, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's fun, and thank you for having me because, you're a great friend, so it's easy to talk to you. So
I
it's
appreciate
super
it.
simple.
But I'm not gonna let you off that easy yet.
Oh, I know you're not. You're going to ask about that Gabe story, aren't you?
You got anything for
That
me or
goddamn
what?
Gabe story. A lot of them are too vulgar.
Too MA?
Yeah, too fucking MA, mature audiences,
Yeah.
already video games.
What's your favorite thing about Gabe?
My favorite thing is that he could roast the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll pick at you in like a little like certain thing, like you look like a mailman who got fired or some stupid shit, and you're like, wow, he really does look like that. And then you're laughing at him, and then he'll just turn it to you, and you're like, oh no, not me. Like, no, please don't. And then he'll point something out. He'll find something about you to get. And he was really witty, man. He was super
Yeah.
witty, super fucking witty.
Fucking Gabe, man.
Like I feel like if he was still alive today, he would definitely have a good like podcast or a stand-up special. I don't know. He would do something because he was super witty. He's almost like what's his name, like a Theo Von.
Oh, dude, Theo.
Yeah,
I could see that actually.
a little bit because he's very like off the wall type of like comparisons.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
just like, huh?
Theo says these things that are just like, where the hell did
Where'd
you get that?
Get that from?
I could see that. That makes sense.
Yeah, very descriptive of like the way he like roast someone type
Yeah.
of stuff. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, Theo Von. Theo Von's the goat. I love Theo Von.
Killing stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna end it, but it just makes me think so much about. What is that? It's frustrating. Like whenever I think someone like when people, there's millions of people all the time that just pass away for no fucking reason. But it's like, it's hard to think. I automatically think to religion because I'm not the most religious person. I have. It sounds really LA of me to say I have spirituality. And
I manifest.
I manifest. I manifested this mic in front of me, but
yeah,
you know, I have my beliefs.
Of course.
But for anyone, it's hard for me to think like God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, but what the fuck? This isn't mysterious.
This is a mystery. What's the mystery?
Yeah, what is it?
This isn't Scooby-Doo. I don't know.
There's no answer. I don't really know where I was going for that. I think literally the only thing, what can you do except just feel what you feel and move forward and get to work. It's like, but not everyone's just put in such different situations where someone loses someone and highs, lows, and you can't, there's so many variables.
Oh yeah.
And you don't know what the fuck's going to happen after someone goes, but what the hell do we do? And it's frustrating.
Yeah, that's the word. It's frustrating for sure.
It's frustrating.
But like I said, it's better to say it than not. So helps.
Yeah. Jesus. I'm going to have to change my shirt after this. I'm sweating. But
I feel it too.
Tayo, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if you want to plug yourself real quick, if there's anything you need to mention right now or social media handles or anything you want to mention that you're working on that you can't mention, or I could turn off the mic and you tell me personally.
Oh yeah. Thank you for having me once again. This is the Dead Talk.
Yeah.
And this is what we're doing. We're talking about death. So get prepared.
I feel like
Teo Fetti, Instagram Teo Fetti. That's it.
I feel like that would have been a good time to plug in your little, what do you call the watermark for producers?
Oh,
the tag?
Yeah, let's go, Teo. That's it, yeah.
I'm going to have to get your permission to throw that tag at the end of this.
I'll give it to you.
Do I got your consent?
I'm going to airdrop it to you.
Right,
I got you. Got you.
All right, we'll plug that in. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Teo, we out.
Let's go, Teo!
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Dead Talks. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell. That'll give you updates as to when we post a new video, more episodes, and more content in general. We are streaming on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and all that. And also find us on Instagram at Dead Talks Podcast or www.deadtalks.net. Thank you so much.